Once upon a time, in a little town, lived a kid named Billie Eilish, who was the biggest ice cream lover in the world. He would eat it every day after school, no matter what flavor or what type. And his favorite place to buy them was at the local ice cream shop, where the owner made the most delicious flavors with organic fruits and nuts. One day, while walking home from school, Billie Eilish decided to stop by the ice cream shop for a sweet treat. But this time, he wanted something different, something extra special. So he looked at the menu and saw the biggest ice cream cone they had, which was called the Colossus. It was so large that they had to put 2 scoops on it to make it even out. And the price was also massive, costing $10. But for Billie Eilish, it was worth every penny. He paid for it without hesitation and sat down to enjoy his prize. The ice cream was so good that Billie Eilish felt like he had entered the next level of an exciting game. The sweetness was perfectly balanced with the crunchiness of the waffle cone and the softness of the scoops. And then something incredible happened. One of the cherries from the topping jumped off the cone and onto Billie Eilish's hand. At first, he thought it was just a playful gesture, but then the cherry started moving around, first slowly, and then faster and faster until it turned into a tiny car that zoomed away. Billie Eilish couldn't believe what he was seeing. Was it a magic trick? A prank by the ice cream shop owner? Or something else entirely? Before he could figure it out, another one of the cherries came alive, and this time it transformed into a motorcycle that sped past him. Then the third one became a helicopter that flew above him and dropped a note that read, "Help us." That's when Billie Eilish realized that the cherries were not just toppings. They were secret agents sent on a mission by the ice cream itself, determined to help them. Billie Eilish got up and followed the trail left by the vehicles. He chased the tiny cars through the streets, over the hills, and across the fields until he reached a clearing in the middle of the park where all the other cherries had gathered. They surrounded a big tree in the shape of an ice cream cone and pleaded with Billie Eilish to save them. He asked them what was happening, and they explained that they were part of a special group of cherries who protected the forest from evil forces who wanted to destroy it. But their leader, King Cherry, had been captured by the enemy and taken to the top of the tallest building in the city. Without their leader, they didn't know what to do, and they needed Billie Eilish's help to rescue him. Even though he was still confused about how an ice cream cone could come alive and talk to him, Billie Eilish knew that he had to do something. He promised to help the cherries rescue their king and save the forest. To get to the tallest building in the city, Billie Eilish had to go through the busiest part of town, where thousands of people were walking around, eating, drinking, and having fun. But thanks to the tiny cars, motorcycles, and helicopters, he managed to avoid being seen and reach the building unnoticed. The structure was so tall that Billie Eilish felt like he was entering another world. Inside, he found luxurious rooms with golden furniture, red carpets, and beautiful paintings on the walls. It looked like a palace where a king could live comfortably. But instead of finding King Carrie, Billie Eilish encountered a man wearing a crown and sitting on a throne. He asked the man where King Cherry was and why he had taken him away. The man laughed and said that he wasn't a king, but an emperor who ruled the city with an iron fist. He had taken King Cherry to use his magic powers to make him the most delicious ice cream in the world so he could enjoy it all to himself. But he hadn't counted on Billie Eilish and the secret cherry squad. The emperor tried to stop Billie Eilish with his bodyguards, but the kid used his wit and courage to outsmart them. He tricked them into thinking he was afraid, then ran past them and climbed up the stairs to the roof where he saw King Cherry tied up with ropes and guarded by the emperor's best soldiers. With the help of the cherry squad, Billie Eilish fought against the bodyguards and freed King Cherry. The two leaders met and thanked each other for coming to the rescue. Then King Cherry told Billie Eilish that he had a surprise for him. He handed him a small box with a red ribbon on top and said it was a token of their appreciation for his bravery and kindness. When Billie Eilish opened the box, he found a shiny golden cherry pit. It looked like a magical artifact from an ancient legend. And King Cherry explained that it was actually a magic bean that could grant Billie Eilish any wish he wanted. In exchange, all he had to do was plant it in his garden and wait for it to grow into a tree that would bear delicious golden cherries. Overjoyed, Billie Eilish accepted the gift and returned home with the cherries. He planted the bean in his backyard and watered it every day, hoping to see some results soon. But it seemed like nothing was happening. He started to lose hope when suddenly one day he noticed that the bean had sprouted and grown into a tiny seedling. From that moment on, Billie Eilish watched in amazement as the seedling grew into a sapling, then into a young tree, and finally into a full-grown tree that bore hundreds of golden cherries. He picked one of them and ate it, and felt like he had never tasted anything so sweet and delicious in his life. It was the best cherry he had ever eaten. And that is when Billie Eilish understood that the best things in life are not always the biggest or the most expensive, but the ones that come from friendship, kindness, and helping others. From that day on, Billie Eilish shared his golden cherries with everyone in town, and they all lived happily ever after. The end.